And a warm welcome to Tatarai in Romania, which these days is home to 50 young adults, all with varying degrees of learning disability. Now, it's no exaggeration to say that we're old friends. We first met when they were children, or in some cases, babies even. But their childhood was no ordinary childhood. They've all survived early experiences of utter deprivation and squalor.
It was in 1990, after the overthrow of Romanian dictator Nicolae Ceausescu, that the children's plight became known. Crammed into stinking cots and fed from buckets, they lived unloved and unwanted. They were handicapped orphans, regarded as subhuman, beyond help. That summer, a Doncaster-based group specializing in the care of psychologically damaged children heard about Tatarai and organized an aid convoy. They could hardly believe what they found.
You can't imagine anything quite like this from any experience we've had at home. So when you actually get here, it is a bit of a shock.
Impressions when you walk through the door, it smells just like a zoo. But no reason at all why any human being should live in this sort of state.
Andrea Pickup was on that first convoy. She's been back to Tatarai several times a year ever since.
I came home thinking, well, I'd done something, and then I just kept thinking about it all the time, and I just gave up my job and said no, I wanted to really become involved with it. And it's just nice to think that I've given a little bit to these young people in Romania.
Thanks to the work of Andrea and others like her over the years, most of the misery has gone. Tatarai is now full of smiling, well-fed faces. The home is in the grounds of an old hunting lodge 30 miles from the capital, Bucharest. Many of today's 50 residents have been here since childhood. They have no family and nowhere else to go. Tatarai Trust was founded to give them long-term support. Care worker Dan Miku has seen the changes.
I live in the village, and I know the story before people like you came here and helped these kids, and obviously they're doing very well now. Before, they were just sitting and doing nothing all day. You could see they had problems.
There's more than a touch of the good life about Tatarai these days. A couple of breeding sows ensure there are plenty of little piglets to provide the bacon. Out in the fields there are cows which provide the milk, and there are also chickens and hens for the eggs. The most important thing, though, about this mini farm is that it's somewhere for the residents to come and work, to acquire that all-important sense of self-worth, dignity and respect. Money from the UK has made this farm possible. The pigs, the cows and the hens were all bought with donations. Two of the keenest workers here are twins, Ika and Victoria, who were orphaned as babies and separated by the Ceausescu system. Only a few years ago, they were reunited at Tatarai. They're now inseparable. The hard work spills out into the village beyond the gates. Biderel has lived at Tatarai since he was a baby. He was always one of the first to greet the English helpers when they arrived. Now a young man, he knows everybody in the village of Tatarai and is in demand for odd jobs which earn him pocket money. Today, he and Lily are digging Maria's garden. She lives on her own and is glad of the help. There are 50 adults who live at Tatarai now. They all have extraordinary stories to tell about trying to come to terms with the horrors of their early childhood. But for me, the most remarkable story concerns three sisters who live here in the semi-independent living unit. They're called Lily, Annie and Nutsi. Come and meet them. Hello, Annie, Nutsi. How are you this morning?
Abandoned at Tatarai as children, the sisters have lived here all their lives. All three were born with underdeveloped legs and can't walk. But they do have a style of mobility all their own. They are talented needlewomen and run their own small home. Just coping with such disabilities would be enough for most people. But despite her own troubles, over 20 years ago, Annie took pity on another orphan, a severely disabled baby called Carmen. She's now 21 and unable to walk, talk or feed herself. Carmen is completely dependent on Annie's care. The sisters thrive in their semi-independent rooms, and more of the residents could benefit from living like this. But the older buildings are uninhabitable and space is tight. To buy a house in the village to be a halfway home to independence for some and to make room for more to benefit from Tatarai would cost nearly £10,000, but it is a top priority for the Trust. Radu Popescu is Tatarai's director. He knows what he wants to achieve for the residents.
To accomplish their dreams, to help them to have an independent life, until then to offer a home. I consider that the Tatarai staff and I are just part of a bigger family, which is made by all the people who are living in Tatarai.
As in any family, everybody has a part to play. Money from the state covers the basics of food and shelter, but little else. There is always maintenance to do and the garden to dig. Tatarai aims for self-sufficiency in fresh vegetables and fruit. Lots are bottled and pickled for the long winters. Anybody who is able does their bit to help. There is much wonderful progress here, but still lots to do. Many of the residents are so damaged by their dreadful past or so severely handicapped they will need care all their lives. In his early years, Nelu was fed from a bucket. He still struggles daily with the hand that life has dealt him. Ionuț has cerebral palsy. He'll never walk or look after himself. He depends on his roommate, Jan, to translate for him. Jan is the only one who can understand what he says. Vasily doesn't speak at all. He spends hours alone every day picking flowers. He was a baby in a cot with two others when the first volunteers arrived, and he's been badly damaged by his childhood trauma. But gradually, a daily diet of love and patience is lessening all their distress. Everybody who lives at Tatarai has untapped potential, but they've never had a chance. New vocational courses might change that. The Trust bought sewing machines and helps with materials so this needlework course can happen. Ileana teaches crochet, embroidery and dressmaking. What the students make is theirs to keep or give as gifts. But the hope is that in time they'll be able to sell their work and make some money of their own. Marcella is knitting a jumper for a friend in the village. She came here 2 years ago. For the first time in her life, she feels safe.
My life in Tatarai is very good. I have many friends. Everybody is good with us, like my parents that I have never.
Over in the kitchen, in the afternoon lull between clearing up lunch and starting dinner, care worker Viorica is the teacher on the catering course. Lily and Marinella are 2 of the 12 Tatarai residents learning about food hygiene, preparation, cooking and serving. Once they get their qualification, they hope to find a gap in the local market and cater for weddings or even start a little cafe. More courses are planned in gardening, animal husbandry, mechanical maintenance, all the areas where the residents can use their skills to make a future for themselves.
Tatarai has changed beyond recognition since I first came here back in 1990. And indeed, many of those changes and improvements are down to the generosity of people in Yorkshire and far beyond. But all that's been achieved could so easily be lost if that funding dried up. For that reason, the Tatarai Trust has just signed a new convention with the Romanian authorities. It commits the Trust to making sure the money does keep coming in, so that these life-affirming activities are not lost.
Their life is better and better, thanks to you and people who's helping Tatarai. We couldn't do it without your help.
The hopeless and helpless children we first saw here in 1990 are now young adults, beginning to come to terms with the horrors of their early childhood. They're now acquiring some dignity and self-respect. But a hard-pressed local authority budget can only pay for the basics. If some of the good things which we've shown you in this video presentation are to continue, the people here still need your support. So do, please help if you can. On behalf of everybody at Tatarai, thank you very much.
The young people of Tatarai have nowhere else to go. So if you'd like to help them, please send a donation made out to the Tatarai Trust, 87 Bawtry Road, Bessacar, Doncaster, DN4 7AG. Or if you feel able to make a regular monthly gift, please write to us at the above address and we'll send you the details.
Hi people in England, I would like to say thank you very much that you help us, me and kids. Thank you and we love you.